August 23rd, 79 AD. The sun rises over the Bay of Naples, painting the water gold and pink. Pompeii wakes to what seems like an ordinary summer morning. 20,000 people live within these walls, a thriving Roman city where fortunes are made, families grow, and daily life unfolds with all its noise, beauty, and struggle. None of them know that in less than 24 hours, everything will end. This is Pompeii on its final day of normal life, before Vesuvius turned a living city into a monument frozen in time. Dawn breaks slowly across the Forum. The great open square at Pompeii's heart begins to stir. Merchants arrive early, unfolding wooden shutters and arranging goods beneath covered porticos. The Temple of Jupiter dominates the northern end, its columns catching the first light, while Mount Vesuvius rises beyond it, quiet and familiar against the morning sky. For generations, that mountain has been nothing more than scenery, covered in vineyards and forest, giving no warning of what lies beneath. The Forum fills quickly. Magistrates arrive to conduct city business at the basilica, their togas bright white in the strengthening sun. Wealthy citizens pause to read public notices posted on walls, discussing politics, upcoming games, new building projects. Near the covered market, the Macellum, fish sellers call out their catch, brought fresh from the bay before sunrise. The smell of salt water and scales mixes with incense, drifting from nearby temples. Just off the Forum, bakeries are already hours into their work. Bakers rose before dawn to knead dough and stoke wood-fired ovens. Round loaves, some still stamped with the baker's mark, will soon fill baskets carried through the streets. In one bakery on the Via Stabiana, a mill turned by a donkey grinds grain in an endless circle, the animal's hooves wearing grooves into the stone floor over years of labor. The public baths are preparing to open. Slaves stoke fires beneath the caldarium, heating water that will flow into the hot pools. By mid-morning, these spaces will be crowded with citizens scraping oil and dust from their skin, gossiping, making deals, and passing time in the warm, echoing chambers. Bathing isn't just about cleanliness. It's social infrastructure where business happens and reputations are built or destroyed. Children run through the streets on their way to lessons. Some head towards small schoolrooms where a grammaticus will teach them Greek and Latin. Others, sons of craftsmen and shopkeepers, will spend the day learning their father's trade. Daughters of wealthy families remain mostly at home, taught spinning, weaving, household management. Life in Pompeii follows patterns that have been Roman for centuries. But there's something else in the air this morning. For days, small tremors have rattled the city. Nothing catastrophic, just the kind of shaking Pompeii has lived with since the massive earthquake 17 years earlier in 62 AD. That quake damaged temples, collapsed buildings, and killed hundreds. Much of the city is still being rebuilt. New frescoes are being painted. Columns are being re-erected. Construction noise echoes through neighborhoods where homes are rising again from rubble. These recent tremors feel familiar enough that most people simply pause, wait for the shaking to stop, and continue with their day. 17 years of rebuilding has taught Pompeii resilience. What no one understands is that these tremors are not aftershocks, they're warnings. Deep beneath Vesuvius, magma is rising, pressure building toward a breaking point that will come tomorrow. But today, the mountain stays quiet, and the city moves forward, trusting in the ordinary. By mid-morning, Pompeii's main street, the Via dell'Abbondanza, pulses with activity. This wide avenue cuts through the city from the Forum eastward, lined with shops, workshops, and the homes of merchants who live above their businesses. Shutters are thrown open. Awnings stretch across storefronts to shade goods from the summer heat. The street becomes a river of people, slaves carrying amphorae, carts rumbling over paving stones, children darting between legs, dogs wandering in search of scraps. Every few meters, a thermopolium serves hot food and drink from wide counters facing the street. These are Pompeii's fast food establishments, embedded into the architecture itself. Large clay jars, dolia, are set into stone counters, keeping stews, beans, and lentils warm. Workers, travelers, and those without kitchens at home stop here for quick meals. One thermopolium near the Forum displays a painted menu on its walls, advertising dishes and prices. A cup of wine, a bowl of warm chickpeas, a piece of bread, sustenance purchased standing up before returning to work. The shops along this street reveal the full range of Roman commerce. A jeweler displays bronze rings and glass beads. A fabric merchant hangs dyed cloth outside his door, the colors vivid in the sunlight. A blacksmith works iron over a forge, each hammer strike ringing out in steady rhythm. Nearby, a carpenter shapes wood for furniture, chairs and tables commissioned by wealthy families renovating their homes. The Folonica, a combined laundry and textile finishing workshop, operates in full force. Workers stomp on cloth submerged in large vats filled with water, urine, and fuller's earth, breaking down oils and softening the fabric. It's hard, repetitive labor performed mostly by slaves whose names will never be recorded. Once cleaned, cloth is stretched on frames and brushed to raise its nap, creating the soft, bright tunics and togas worn by Pompeii's elite. The smell is sharp and unpleasant, but essential to the city's economy. Inside private homes, daily life unfolds in quieter rhythms. In a wealthy domus, high walls shield an interior courtyard from street noise. The atrium opens to the sky, letting in light and rain, which collects in a shallow pool at the center. Rooms branch off in all directions, decorated with frescoes showing gods, gardens, and mythological scenes. Slaves move through these spaces, preparing meals, cleaning, attending to the needs of the household. The dominus, the head of the family, may receive clients this morning, visitors who owe him favors or seek his influence, a ritual that binds Pompeii's social fabric together. Not all homes are grand. In modest insulae, multi-story buildings divided into rental apartments, families live in smaller quarters, sometimes just a single room with a window facing the street. Cooking happens on portable braziers. Privacy is minimal, yet even here, painted plaster brightens the walls, and small shrines honor household gods. The streets themselves are thick with graffiti. Carved and painted messages cover every available surface. Political slogans urging votes for upcoming elections. Declarations of love. Insults aimed at rivals. Advertisements for gladiatorial games. Crude jokes and drawings. Walking through Pompeii means reading the unfiltered voice of the city, its humor, anger, desire, and pettiness, all preserved in scratched plaster and charcoal. Public fountains mark major intersections, fresh water flowing constantly from lead pipes connected to the city's aqueduct. People stop to fill jars, splash their faces, water animals. These fountains are social nodes, places where neighbors meet and gossip spreads. A conversation here this morning might concern the games scheduled for the amphitheater, repairs needed on a local temple, or the latest scandal involving a city official. Pompeii is alive in every sense. It produces, consumes, argues, laughs, suffers, and endures. On this particular morning, nothing suggests that tomorrow all of this will stop. By afternoon, the heat presses down on Pompeii. Those who can retreat indoors, seeking shade and cooler air. But much of the city continues working. Religion weaves through every part of Roman life, and today is no exception. At the Temple of Apollo, priests perform daily rituals, offering incense and wine to the god. The temple stands just off the Forum, its bronze statue of Apollo catching the light. Devotion here is practical and transactional. Prayers request good harvests, successful business ventures, protection from illness. The gods are powers to be negotiated with, not distant abstractions. Nearby, the Temple of Isis attracts worshippers drawn to Egyptian mystery religions that have spread throughout the empire. Inside, priests in linen robes perform rites foreign to traditional Roman practice, appealing to those seeking something beyond the state-sponsored pantheon. Pompeii's religious life is diverse, reflecting an empire that has absorbed beliefs from across the Mediterranean. The amphitheater, located at the city's southeastern edge, prepares for upcoming games. Built into a natural depression in the ground, it can hold around 20,000 spectators, nearly the entire population of Pompeii. Today, workers check seating, repair awnings, and prepare the arena floor. The games advertised on walls throughout the city promise gladiatorial combat, wild animal hunts, and public executions. These spectacles are both entertainment and political currency, funded by wealthy citizens seeking popular support. Behind the amphitheater lies the gladiator barracks, the Ludus Gladiatorius. Here, fighters train under the supervision of a lanista, the manager who owns or leases them. Some gladiators are slaves or prisoners. Others are free men who have chosen this life. trading safety for fame and the possibility of wealth. They practice with wooden swords, sparring in the heat, building strength and skill for combats that might end in death or glory. The barracks include cells for sleeping, a kitchen, and a small prison for fighters considered flight risks. Elsewhere in the city, workshops hum with specialized labor. In one district, potters shape clay on wheels, creating amphorae for wine and oil, bowls, plates, and lamps that will light Pompeii's homes tonight. Their kilns burn hot, adding to the afternoon heat. Nearby, metalworkers hammer bronze and iron, crafting tools, weapons, decorative fittings, and household items. Every object used in Pompeii is made by hand, representing hours of skilled labor. One of Pompeii's most distinctive industries is garum production, a fermented fish sauce central to Roman cuisine. Made from fish guts, salt, and thyme, garum ferments in large vats under the sun, producing a pungent liquid exported throughout the empire. The smell near these workshops is overwhelming, a thick, salty stench that clings to everything. Yet garum is valuable, a luxury product that brings wealth to those who produce it. Slaves perform much of this labor. They are carpenters, weavers, bakers, cooks, cleaners, nurses, and field workers. Some are educated and serve as tutors or accountants.
Ensure the
Others
letters
do
are clear.
backbreaking physical work, their bodies used until injury or age makes them worthless. Slavery is the foundation of Pompeii's economy, an accepted reality that no one in the city questions. Freedmen, former slaves who have won or purchased their freedom, occupy an uncertain middle position, legally free but socially marked by their past. Outside the city walls, suburban villas spread across the landscape. These country estates belong to Pompeii's wealthiest families, offering space, gardens, and distance from urban noise. Vineyards cover the slopes of Vesuvius, producing wine that will be consumed here and shipped elsewhere. Olive groves provide oil for cooking, lighting, and ritual. Vegetable gardens supply fresh produce. These estates are working farms managed by slave labor, but they're also retreats where the wealthy can escape and display their refined taste through elaborate gardens, fountains, and painted dining rooms. One such villa, the Villa of the Mysteries, sits just outside Pompeii's walls. Its frescoes depict scenes from Dionysian mystery rites, figures engaged in rituals whose meaning is still debated centuries later. Whoever commissioned these paintings wanted something beyond the ordinary, a glimpse into the sacred and the hidden. This afternoon, the villa is quiet, its rooms cool and still, waiting for evening when its owners might return from the city. Pompeii in the afternoon is a place of labor, faith, and ambition, a city building its future one day at a time, unaware that its future has already run out. As the sun begins to sink toward the Bay of Naples, Pompeii shifts into its evening rhythms. The heat eases, shops begin to close, wooden shutters pulled across storefronts and locked with iron bolts. Workers head home, their day's labor finished. The streets, so crowded just hours before, start to empty as families gather for the most important meal of the day. Inside the homes of the wealthy, the cena, dinner, becomes a social event. Reclining on couches arranged around low tables, diners are served multiple courses: eggs, vegetables, fish, roasted meats, bread, fruit, and wine mixed with water. Slaves move quietly between courses, refilling cups and clearing dishes. Conversation flows covering politics, philosophy, gossip, and plans for the future. These meals can last hours, extending late into the night, a display of wealth and leisure. In poorer households, dinner is simpler but no less important. Families sit together over bowls of porridge, beans cooked with olive oil, bread dipped in wine. Children eat quickly, their energy undiminished even as the day ends. Mothers clean up while fathers talk, discussing work, debts, and the small dramas that shape ordinary life. Wine flows freely throughout Pompeii tonight, in homes, taverns, and street-side bars. Pompeian wine, some of it grown on Vesuvius itself, fills clay cups and passed between friends. Laughter spills from doorways. Arguments break out and are forgotten. A musician plays a flute in a tavern near the Forum, the notes drifting into the cooling air. Street lamps begin to appear, small clay vessels filled with oil, a wick floating on the surface. Their light is weak, but enough to mark doorways and guide late travelers. Most of Pompeii will spend tonight in near darkness, navigating by memory and moonlight. Fires are banked in hearths, left smoldering until morning when they'll be coaxed back to life. In the bakeries, work never truly stops. While the rest of the city sleeps, bakers will begin again in the early hours, kneading dough for tomorrow's bread. Dough already sits rising in covered bowls, waiting. The mills are silent now, but they'll turn again before dawn. Life in Pompeii operates on cycles, daily rhythms that seem eternal and unchanging. Children settle into sleep on small beds, some just mats on the floor. Mothers whisper prayers to household gods, small figures kept in shrines within every home, protectors of family and hearth. Fathers check doors and shutters one last time before lying down. Dogs curl up in corners, guarding thresholds even in sleep. Above the city, stars emerge in a clear sky. The air is still. Mount Vesuvius rises to the north, a dark shape against the lighter darkness of the sky. For 17 years, it has been quiet. For generations before that, it was simply the mountain, part of the landscape, covered in green, productive, and harmless. No Roman alive has any memory of it erupting. The mountain is just there, permanent and safe, as unquestioned as the stones beneath Pompeii's streets. But deep below, magma continues to rise. Gases build pressure in chambers that have been sealed for centuries. The tremors that rattled the city this morning and for days before are the mountain waking up. What will happen tomorrow? The violent column of ash and gas that will rise miles into the sky? The pyroclastic surges that will bury Pompeii in hours? None of it can be predicted or understood by the people sleeping here tonight. Pompeii rests. Families lie in their homes, slaves in their quarters, gladiators in their cells. The forum is empty. The baths are dark. The amphitheater waits. Everything that makes this city alive, its people, its routines, its noise and commerce and prayer, continues in the quiet faith that tomorrow will come, just like today. And tomorrow will come. But it will not be like today. For now, though, on this last evening of normal life, Pompeii simply exists. 2,000 years later, we can walk these streets and see where they slept, where they worked, where they ate and prayed and argued. We can read the words they scratched into walls and see the shapes their bodies left in the ash. We can stand in their homes and touch the same stones they touched. What we're looking at isn't just a city. It's a moment, preserved by catastrophe, where Roman life stopped mid-breath and waited for us to find it. Pompeii didn't know it was living its last day. And maybe that's what makes it so powerful. It was just another day, ordinary and unremarkable, until it wasn't. If there's another moment, another city, another lost place you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know. History is full of days like this. Ordinary days that became extraordinary simply because they were the last. Thank you for being here.